Hi there, welcome to today's deck, and today is Zahur, Glory's Past, white and black for a 3-2 zombie cat warrior. Okay, has start your engines, so we're back on the speed plan today. As I said previously when I talked about speed before, I think it's right, it comes into play, get speed 1, then you can commit, you can deal, make an opponent lose some life that turn, and go up a point of speed as well. So I think you can get to 2 on this. I think, again, I haven't seen the rulings on this yet. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments, but I believe that's how it works. But anyway, 2 other abilities as well. Sacrifice a creature, Surveyor 1, activate only once each turn. Okay. And then max speed. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. Okay. So we're back to generating zombies in white-black. Yeah, okay. I can cope with this plan for the day. So here we go. Here's my take on Zahur. Zahur. We'll go with Zah. Just the on tabletop warning, there's 1 card in here that's put this up to nearly $1,000. You can take it out. There's a few others that are getting pricey, but people may have them. But just bear with me on this one because, as I say, most of my games are now online. So, yeah, I go by the online price. It's about average for mine, about 50 tickets. So, just a little aside. Anyway, the cards. 32 creatures in the deck, starting with Gravecrawler. Yeah. If we can get maximum speed on Zah, we can sack this off to Surveyor 1, and then we'll get the zombie token and we can replay it. That's fine. Cope with that plan. Oscillate Pride, just give us some life gain, a little bit of ascending, and some copying of tokens if we need it. I just like having this in here most of the time now if I'm playing a white deck, so expect to see it in a lot of my decks going forward. Bartolomeo del Presidio is also here because we are going to be sacrificing creatures and we can sacrifice creatures and artifacts to this guy because that will still trigger the max speed Azure. This gets big quite quickly. Blood Artist lets us deal the damage. That helps us get up to max speed reasonably quickly. Along with Corpse Knight does the same thing because each opponent loses 1, so max speed appropriate. Same with Cruel Celebrant. Same with Elias, Ill Sadistic Pilgrim. And Marionette Apprentice. Can you see where I'm going with this now? It's fairly self-explanatory, isn't it? We have Reassembling Skeleton because we can just return this. We can sack it to Zahur. And then each turn, if we've got the mana, we can do it in each of our opponent's turn. If we've got 6 mana kicking around to do this, get the max speed on the go, start hitting those, generating those zombies quite happily. Vengeful Blood Witch also does this when this creature or another creature you control dies. Target opponent loses 1, you gain 1. So more ways of targeting, along with Wayward Servant, because we'll have zombies coming into play under our control. Yeah, another way of going up to max speed if we can. Zulaport Cutthroat does the same thing. They're all very much the same, aren't they? You all know what they do. I don't need to talk about them for too long. Atheros, the God of Passage, is also here. Whenever another creature you can own dies, return it to your hand unless target opponent pays 3 life. Most people don't bother, and you should be able to get the devotion up to 7 to start attacking with your 5/4 God with this. Arya, the Thirst of Locthwain, also does the whole draining bit, which helps to trigger the speed. Drana, Liberator of Malakea, is also here to get the +1/+1 counters on the go. Enduring Innocence lets us, whenever one or more creatures with power 2 or less enter, draw a card, only triggers once a turn. So sack a creature off, get your zombie, draw a card. Sounds fair. Cabal, the Profiteering Mare, is also in. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, for each of them, create a tapped token that's a copy. So yeah, if your opponent's creating lots of tokens, you're going to get a copy of one every so often. So yay. Okay. And it does the draining thing to help with the max speed. Marauding Blight Priest, whenever we gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Yep. Moonrise Cleric attacks, you gain a life. Okay. And Tomic, Wielder of Law, lets us make an opponent lose 3 life and draw a card if they attack us with 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you or planeswalkers you control. Yeah, okay then. Elenda, the Dust Throws, whenever another creature dies, we get to make this bigger, and then when this dies, we get to have all the vampire tokens. Enduring Tenacity, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Okay. Fine by me. Mirkwood Bats, we're sacking whenever you create or sacrifice a token. Each opponent loses 1 life. We've got ways of making tokens, as you can see. Mondrak had to be here, didn't it? You know, with all the zombies coming along, might as well have extra ones. Pitiless Plunderer gives us treasures when our creatures die. And this is nice because this is whenever another creature you control dies, you get a treasure token. It's not once a turn, so that means you can sack your zombies to the Pitless Plunderer if Zahur's in play and get all those treasures you may need for your next turn. Bear it in mind. Wisp Drinker Vampire is also in. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1, you gain 1. And then you can give all your creatures with power 2 or less Death Touch and Lifelink for 7 mana if you really need to. Carmen, the Cruel Sky Marcher. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Carmen and you gain a life. And when it attacks, return up to 1 target permanent card with mana value less than or equal to Carmen's power from the graveyard to the battlefield. It's a nice way of recurring some of your things that have been killed off. God Eternal Orchestra just gives us big zombies. So Conrad, yeah, we've got things to go in the graveyard. It had to be here, didn't it? A bit of a no-brainer. Ethros, the Shroud Veil, is also in to chuck around those coin counters, and we can put them on our creatures and sacrifice them and then put that back onto the battlefield under our control, which is quite a nice little combo. Oge Attack, the Deepest Foundation, just to make sure we're getting lots and lots of zombie tokens. And Sun Titan is here. Sun Titan has a very specific effect because we are playing so many cards. If you look at the creatures here, we are playing 20 creatures alone that the Sun Titan can return if we need it to at any stage. So yeah, kind of made sense to have that here to me. Spells. I've learnt the hard way from one of the decks I did recently where I didn't have any targeted removal. So Condemn, Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares are all here. We have Enlightened Tutor and Vampiric Tutor to go and get us cards we may need, including some of the artifacts. Damn is here for either the Overlord or targeted removal at sorcery speed. Breathe Your Last, I quite like this. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, you gain 1 life for each of its colours. Little bit of life gain that people aren't expecting, to cool. Toxic Deluge to just keep the board under control. Victimize to sack a creature and return 2 from our graveyard that we need to the battlefield tapped. Damnation for control. Raise the Past is in also from Foundations to bring back all our creatures, all creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And yeah, there's quite a big proportion of the cards that we need to have in play are 2 or less. So it made sense. Wrath of God for some more control. Blasphemous Edict for even more control. Living Death because it just gives us a cheap way of bringing back all our creatures, and then if we really need it, Rise of the Dark Realms. I will at some stage cast this in 1 commander game, it won't get counted, and I will then proceed to win. That's what I'm aiming for anyway. Artifacts, Amulet of Vigour to stop all our zombies coming into play tapped, and then we have Ramp with Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Jet Medallion, Pearl Medallion, Talisman of Hierarchy. And then I've also played Chimley, the Inner Sun in here today, mainly because I think we've got a lot of things we can discover 5 for, so that should be okay. Enchantments, Lunar Convocation, beginning your end step. If you gained life this turn, each opponent loses 1 life, and if we lost life and gained life, we get a bat. Yeah, okay then. Meat Hook Massacre, yep, that's the ultimate removal spell nowadays, isn't it? Plus all the life gain and life loss we can cause, along with Bastion Remembrance. Monologue Tax gives us treasures when people cast their second spells, and people do cast more than 1 spell a lot of the time in Commander, as we all know. Retreat to Hagra just lets us do the life landfall and the draining gain to help the speed build up. Anointed Processions here to make sure we get even more tokens from our zombies as we go along. Revenge of the Ravens, just another way of hopefully getting the max speed at some stage. Well, it doesn't really work when people attack us because it has to be on our turn for the speed, but you know, if we can do it on our turn, it helps. Well, not really, but it just gives away gaining life and draw and losing life. So yeah, maybe I misread this actually. I'll leave it in for now. It may be a card we take out and put something else in its place. And then Smothering Tithe. Yeah, haven't played it for a while. I had to go in somewhere, didn't it? So it was in today. Lands wise, the usual selection of black and white lands. Fairly few more swamps than there are plains because of how we are playing the deck. But we have quite a few lands that cover up as plains. Oh, that's why the deck costs so much, by the way. Scrublands in here. Drop it. Just play another plains if you want to. But because we have all these lands that double up as plains as well, I am playing, wherever it's gone now, Emeria the Sky Rune in here as well to return things, because hopefully we'll get 7 plains in play quite quickly and start triggering this off. And that's it. that is my take on Zahur, the Glorious Pass. We do have to remember, which I remembered halfway through this video, that we have to do the speed during our turn. So but we've got enough ways to make sure we can keep the speed going for each of our turns when an opponent loses life. So it's going to take us a little bit of time. We do want to get Zahur down on turn 2 and then start hopefully getting the speed on the go after that. So yay, we'll do that. I think it should work. I think it should be good fun. Failing that, we'll just be making hopefully the speed up and get a lot of zombies at some stage. Hopefully, when I look at the full set, there'll be some more ways of getting speed on the go in white and black. I haven't seen anything that caught my eye yet when I was going through the cards that have been spoiled so far. So this is one deck that I will probably come back to and look at again, and include some more of the speed increasing cards if we can. But for now, if you do see any or you know any I've missed out already, please let me know in the comments down below. Hit the subscribe button if you can. I'd love it if you could come and give me a follow here on YouTube. Really appreciate it. And if you want to see me play this out once the set hits MTGO, please give me a follow on Twitch. There's a link down below in the description of the video. You can come give me a follow over there and I'd really appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care and I'll be back tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye.